just to review a little, if we were going to make a box and whisker plot, you guys have your maximum and your minimum. Our median would fall here. Okay. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5. Here would be like our Q3. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here would be our Q1. Okay. Remember we said that this split it up into 25% of the data. So we would actually call Q1 the 25th percentile, meaning 25% of the data falls below whatever that value is. And then Q2, or the median, would be the 50th percentile, meaning 50% of the data falls at or falls below that mark. And then Q3 would be the 75th percentile, meaning 75% of the data falls below that mark. Okay? So with this data, the question we're being asked is, where is the 45th percentile? So right now, we know that somewhere between 4.25 and 5. To figure out what exact value that is, we would be doing a calculation like this. So which piece of data is the 45th percentile? So first you need to know how many pieces of data you have, which is 20. And you need to multiply that by the percentile that you're trying to find as a percent. So 45% of 20 ends up being 9. Okay? This means the 9th piece of data is the 45th percentile, where 45% of the data falls below that. And so that would be at 4.75. So 4.75 would be the 45th percentile in this data set. If somebody had asked you, say, to find the 75th percentile, if you knew a lot about box and whisker plots, you would have already found that. Okay? Or if we did the percentile calculation, okay, we are trying to find, so the percentile is going to be equal to so let's verify. Okay, sorry, let me backtrack a little. We wanted to find the 75th percentile, we would do what we just did. We have the percentile and we look for the piece of data. Let's say we want to verify that and say, what percentile is 6.25? Okay? I know there's 2 of them, but we want to count the number of values below the data. So below the data, there are 15 pieces. So there are 15 out of 20 pieces of data that are below 6.25. That will give me a decimal, and I'm going to times that decimal by 100 to see it as a percent and know which percentile I'm talking about. So this becomes 0.75 times 100, or the 75th percentile. Okay, so it makes sense that 6.25 would represent the 75th percentile, even with our box and whisker plot markings, because 75% of the data would be below that marker. You guys are going to use this information. I want you guys to go back to examples 1 and 2 today during class to practice dot plots and what they mean. And then you should have completed example 3 with the Major League Baseball data and creating lots of visual representations. And then you should come here to example 4, which is right below this calculating percentile work, and answer those 3 questions using the information I just gave you and the data that you gathered from example 3 in homework last night about the baseball players. Okay? And then we will check those things tomorrow. On Canvas, you guys have a worksheet on box and whisker plots to create when you get home. So make sure you use class time to complete the work you're supposed to do in class.